Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the New York Jets quest for redemption. It's a make or break year for them, bro. And it's not just for them, but for this nigga right here, Robert Saleh. Because if they don't at least make it to the second round of the playoffs, or the playoffs in general, this nigga's out of the fucking door. Because they have not made a single playoff game since he's been the head coach, bro. And then you got Aaron Rodgers coming back from a torn Achilles. You got Mike Williams, who's also coming back from, what was it, a torn Achilles for him? I believe it was either torn Achilles or torn ACL, but he's coming back from injury. Breece Hall came back from injury last year, and then you got a revamped offensive line. You got to worry about Tyron Smith also staying healthy as well. So we really don't know how good this team is going to be. You know, they got a top 5 defense. But if everybody can stay healthy, mostly Aaron Rodgers, bro, if they all can stay healthy, they will have a good shot at not just winning their division, but maybe even being in contempt and you know what I'm saying, contention for maybe even the 1 seed, bro, you know, because they have a very, very talented squad on the team. Led by Aaron Rodgers, of course. They got Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, they drafted Malachi Corley. Jack Conklin's a solid tight end, and then, you know what I'm saying, they revamped the offensive line, and they got one of the best, probably top 3 running back in the league right now in Breece Hall, and then that top 5 defense led by Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner and company. But hey, let's go ahead and check this out.
The New York Jets essentially get a do-over. Everything is mostly the same for the Jets. Last season, Aaron Rodgers got hurt on his 4th snap, and it absolutely derailed the season. But the Jets are running it back, and Robert Saleh gets another year too. Saleh was considered a defensive mastermind before coming to the Jets. He was the 49ers defensive coordinator for 4 seasons under Kyle Shanahan, and the defense was dominant. He was hired to be the Jets head coach in 2021, and it was a struggle in year 1, 4-13. It was a stepping stone year, and the Jets did jump to 7-10 in 2022. But they didn't improve last season, still 7-10. Saleh's tenure has really been linked to Zach Wilson, who's now a Bronco. He went second at the 2021 NFL Draft and has been the starter for most of the past 3 seasons.
They would have definitely been better off drafting somebody like Trey Lance or Justin Fields.
It wasn't supposed to be, at least not in 2023. It was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers, but that didn't last long. The Jets made a massive splash last year trading for Aaron Rodgers. He was traded with a 5th round pick for a 2nd, 6th, and conditional 2nd. Rodgers has had a legendary career. He was a 1st round pick back at the 2005 NFL Draft coming out of Cal. He was in contention to be the 1st pick, but it ended up being Alex Smith instead. Of course, the 49ers would go on to probably regret that decision. Rodgers sat behind Favre for 3 seasons and then took over from there. He went on to win the Super Bowl in 2010 and has won MVP 4 times. He's a 10-time Pro Bowl selection and 4-time first-team All-Pro. Rodgers has the best touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history with 475 touchdowns to only 105 interceptions. Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he's 40 now. Last season, he suffered a torn Achilles on his 4th snap, and it ruined the Jets' season. Now, it's time for redemption. He was supposed to be the missing piece, but now a year
that no-look pass was crazy. That no-look pass.
Supposed to be the missing piece.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's so nasty.
If he is. Rodgers at his peak was insane, but in reality, what does he look like now? Luckily, he does have some good players around him to prop him up if he struggles. The Jets have some really good offensive weapons around Aaron Rodgers, especially Garrett Wilson. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year after an 1,100-yard campaign in 2022. And then last season, he broke 1,000 yards again despite the whole Jets mess at quarterback. The now number 2 behind him is probably going to be Mike Williams. He got a 1-year deal from the Jets after tearing his ACL last season and only playing in 3 games. He's 3 seasons removed from an 1,100-yard campaign and had over 600 yards in 5 straight seasons with the Chargers. He's a guy who could really be good for Rodgers. 2nd-year guy Xavier Gibson is slated at wide receiver 3 for now, and he had 21 catches last season.
Over Malachi Corley?
Lazard is still a Jet, and the Jets just drafted Malachi Corley out of West.
Bro, this nigga is so fucking built. Like, Pause, no Diddy, bro. Like, this nigga definitely reminds me of
the third
Debo.
round.
Like, he might be more
Plenty
bulkier
of
than
options for
Debo,
Rodgers
like
to work with.
muscle
At tight end,
wise.
Tyler Conklin is the guy. He just had 600 yards last season. At running back, Breece Hall was good last season. He had about 1,000 yards and should be the Jets' lead back again. The Jets, surprisingly, were really busy at the draft when it comes to running back. In the fourth round,
They drafted Braylon Allen. I forgot.
He's only 20 years
That's a
old,
nasty
and
duo.
three-time second-team All-Big Ten selection. 1 round later, the Jets selected Isaiah Davis. He was a beast at South Dakota State and was a first-team FCS All-American last season and won 2 national championships there. So it's safe to say that the Jets have some options at running back.
2 national
The Jets' offensive line
championships.
was a disaster heading into this season, but there have been a lot of improvements. At the draft, the Jets had the 11th overall pick and used it on Olu Fashanu, an offensive tackle out of Penn State. He was a consensus All-American and Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year during his time there. He's going to be a very important part for the Jets' future, but the line is different now regardless. Tyron Smith got a 1-year deal after a great 161 games for the Cowboys. The Jets did also sign John Simpson, who's played in 52 games over the past 4 seasons. Morgan Moses is back after he was a Jet in 2021 and most recently spent the last 2 seasons with the Ravens. The other 2 expected starters are homegrown. Center Joe Tippmann was a second-rounder last year and played in 16 games as a rookie. Then Elijah Vera Tucker was a first-round pick in 2021 and has started 28 games for the Jets. It's a full redo for the Jets, and even offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett is back for another go. He was the offensive coordinator for the Packers when Rodgers won his back-to-back MVPs. In between, he did have a pretty disastrous head coaching stint with the Broncos, but he's back with his boy Rodgers again now. The Jets have a pretty solid offense, probably somewhere in the middle of the pack, but the defense should be one of, if not the best in the league. Robert Saleh has successfully built a defensive powerhouse, which was exactly what he was hired to do. He's done it with defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, who he hired back in 2021 after he was with the Falcons for 6 years. The Jets have lost a couple of important defensive ends. John Franklin Myers was traded to the Broncos for a 6th-round pick, and then Bryce Huff signed with the Eagles. But they did go on to sign Hassan Reddick. He was a second-team All-Pro in 2022 and has been selected to the Pro Bowl in back-to-back seasons. Reddick has at least 11 sacks in each of the last 4 years. The Jets also signed Javon Kinlaw, who spent the last 4 seasons on the 49ers. Quinnen Williams will play defensive tackle with him, and he's really established himself as a threat. He had 5.5 sacks last season and had 12 sacks in 2022. Add in Solomon Thomas, who's still a Jet too. Then Reddick should be playing across from Jermaine Johnson at defensive end. The Jets have put a ton of capital into the defense, and he's an example. Johnson was a 2022 first-rounder and had 7.5 sacks last season. There's also Will McDonald, who was a first-rounder last year. At linebacker, CJ Mosley is a workhorse. He's had over 150 sacks each of the last 3 seasons, all with the Jets. He's been a tackling machine during his career, and he's a great veteran presence. The other 2 linebackers beside him should be Quincy Williams, Quinnen's brother.
Very
and
underrated.
Sherwood.
The most underrated linebacker in the
Really where
NFL.
the Jets dominate, though. Every single conversation starts with Sauce Gardner. He was the number 4 pick at the 2022 NFL Draft. Sauce was insanely good at Cincinnati and has lived up to every ounce of the hype. He was the Defensive Rookie of the Year and has twice been a first-team All-Pro and Pro Bowl selection. DJ Reed is going to be playing across from Sauce, and he's been good. He's entering his last season of a 3-year, $33 million deal. We actually get to watch Chuck Clark as a Jet.
Clark,
He was
oh yeah,
traded
he was
for a
injured
7th
last
pick
year.
last offseason, but tore his ACL during OTAs and missed the entire season. The other expected starting safety is Tony Adams. He went undrafted in 2022, but made the 53-man roster and started 15 games last season. It's just a beast of a defense. The Bills have won the AFC East for 4 straight years now. And once again, the Bills are favored to win the division at plus 170. But the Jets are right there behind them. The Jets are plus 190 and the Dolphins are plus 200. The Bills are going to be expected to be good for as long as Josh Allen is there, and it's still a good roster around him, but the reality is, Buffalo has lost a lot. Stephon
Yeah.
Diggs was traded to the Texans, and Gabe Davis, Mitch Morse, Tre'Davious White, and Jordan Poyer are all gone. It's pretty rough. That really leaves the door open for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
Why is he throwing
and the Dolphins.
grass?
This year is a prove-it year for Tua Tagovailoa because he's due for a contract, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are there to help him get paid. Mike McDaniel is an offensive mastermind, and he's led the Dolphins to the postseason in both seasons as the Miami head coach. Granted, the Dolphins have lost both times in the wild card. Then, of course, in the pits of hell, also in the AFC East,
Pits of
the
hell.
Patriots are there. Long gone.
Yeah,
are
the
days
Patriots are just
Patriots
existing, bro.
dominating the division. The Patriots have a brutal plus 2,500 odds to win the AFC East and have way higher odds to be the worst team in the NFL. Everything's
Damn.
different in New England. It's head coach Gerard Mayo and rookie Drake May running the show. And who knows how that'll go, but it's going to take time regardless. The Jets could absolutely win the AFC East. It's been a long wait to watch Aaron Rodgers seriously play for the Jets, so it's going to be cool to see the Jets run it back. There was so much hype around him last offseason, and now we'll actually get to see if it was all worth it, or if it doesn't work, but only time will tell.
Hey man, what do you guys think about the New York Jets? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications, get notified whenever I drop another banger video. We're on the road to 300 subs. Help me get there for more banger NFL content like this. So without further ado, I'm out. Gang!